post which has gone viral on Twitter, that one of the user, he was flabbergasted when his 8-year old niece asked him कि अंकल porn क्या होता है? Porn में I can't use those words. So उनको ये बातें पता कैसे चल रही हैं? Because these influencers have made it a normal. Ranveer Allahbadia had posted a picture with Samay Raina in his YouTube community saying कि हमने कर दिया है कलेश, let's do something big.
What happens when influence is misused, when humor crosses the line into the grotesque, and when content creators abandon all sense of responsibility? Today, we dissect one such disturbing controversy that has sparked outrage across the nation. YouTuber Ranveer Allahbadia, popularly known as Dear Biceps, is feeling the sting of his crass remarks on comedian Samay Raina's YouTube show, India's Got Latent. The comment by Ranveer Allahbadia has ignited a firestorm of criticism, and rightfully so. The backlash is not just about the words themselves, but about what they represent. A growing trend of content creators pushing boundaries without regard for their influence or its impact. With a massive following across platforms, Ranveer Allahbadia is not just an internet personality. He's a recognized and celebrated figure. He isn't a random nobody spouting off in some obscure corner of the internet. He is an influencer who shapes minds, particularly young ones. When you have a platform as vast as Allahbadia's, your words carry weight. Many argue that this is just dark humor, a staple of YouTube shows. Some say that the outrage is overblown and that people are too sensitive. There's a saying, comedy often treads uncomfortable ground, and not every bad joke warrants a public execution. But this isn't about comedy. This is about a deliberate choice to invoke imagery so grotesque and disrespectful that it alienates and disgusts rather than entertain. This isn't about one bad joke. It's about the trend of all influencers stooping to new lows for views and revenue. Some argue that this is not the first time something like this has happened on Samay Raina's show. But does that mean habitual offenders should be allowed to continue unchecked? This may not be the first time, but it definitely should be the last. The question remains, who should be held accountable? The primary accountability should be of the content creators. There's a reason why they're called influencers. They influence people, especially young minds. In Allahbadia's case, the comments were utterly disgusting, filthy, and deplorable. They promoted incest, even offered money for a homosexual encounter, described intimate acts involving parents, and spoke of witnessing or even participating in such acts. The secondary responsibility should be of YouTube. Take, for example, the Super Bowl Nipplegate incident involving Janet Jackson, when a singer pulled apart her blouse, and there was this whole controversy called Nipplegate, where the broadcaster was fined $500,000. Although the fines were later reduced, the key takeaway was clear. The broadcaster bore responsibility. How is YouTube any different from that broadcaster? The tertiary accountability should be of the brands sponsoring such content. Brands cannot simply duck responsibility. By funding creators who put out perverse content, they indirectly endorse such material. Now, delving into the legal repercussions of the obscene comments, Section 296 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita clearly states that perverted, obscene acts in public places are punishable, and I think YouTube is the most public of all places. It is as public as can be. Similarly, Section 67 of the Information Technology Act penalizes obscene digital content. The Delhi High Court recently upheld an FIR against the YouTube channel TVF, ruling that its content was vulgar, obscene, and profane. Notably, similar, in fact less offensive content has been deemed illegal by the courts in the past. This controversy is more than just one YouTuber's comment. It is the larger ecosystem of digital content and the accountability that comes with influence. As viewers, we must demand better. Social media and OTT platforms have become lawless territories where anything goes in the name of engagement and revenue. If there were ever a moment to demand stricter regulations, it is now. We need stronger laws, stricter accountability, and real consequences for those who exploit their influence to spread filth. Because without legal safeguards, today's controversy will be tomorrow's norm. And that is a future we cannot afford to accept. Joining us today is Mr. Akshit Singh, the complainant who filed a case against Ranveer Allahbadia, Samay Raina, and others for their utterly disgusting, perverse, filthy, and deplorable content. Thank you for being here, Mr. Akshit.
Thank you, ma'am, for having me on the show.
Mr. Akshit, let's begin with your complaint. Can you walk us through what was said, why you found it objectionable, and what legal action have you initiated? Were you following the show on a regular basis, or was it the very first time you came across such content in this show?
Okay. So, first of all, I haven't watched a single episode of those people. Like you and me and other people, we just got to know about it through reels, shorts, and the short clips on Twitter. So, and the in our opinion, the prime purpose was to have the public attention. It was done intentionally because show was meant only for their members. You have to take a subscription and then you can watch it. So it was for in our opinion, it was a PR stunt which has totally backfired in a very huge way. When we saw it, and which the comments which were made in that show, as honorable court has also said that there's a fine line between obscenity and words which shows abuses, slander, or mocking. The content, the words which were used were obscene. Objectifying your own parents just to have views and money is not at all acceptable in the Indian society. India is known for its rich heritage and its soft power. And this show has the huge viewership of more than millions. And this show is being watched by other people as well. And the most important thing in this case was that the followers of Mr. Samay Raina and Mr. Allabadia, it ranged from 13 to 18 years. Jhanak, if you have followed the primetime shows, many parents have accepted that they used to take their kids along to watch the podcast so that they can also learn few things. In my opinion, it's not right because podcast is not the medium to get or have some knowledge. For it, books are meant for it. But let's keep those things apart. The moment we saw that this video is being circulated in social media just to have the negative PR, because in the social media platform, every sort of PR is a PR which enhances the views and viewership. So it was me who filed the first complaint in the Ministry of Information Broadcasting. Second, we filed a physical complaint in Mumbai, and we also sent the same complaint in PMO, CCing the Honorable IT Minister, Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav, and also to the Joint Secretary of MIT. So yeah, that's all.
All right. So thank you, Akshit. And this isn't just about one offensive comment. Ranveer Allahbadia has millions of followers across platforms. Do you believe that such statements, when made by a prominent influencer, it has a more damaging impact on young audiences?
Ma'am, first of all, let's be very clear on this. India is a land of heroes and idols, And after 2014, when we got the free internet in the name of Geo, these people have come out, and people have often started taking these people as their idols, which, in my opinion, it's wrong, because we had great freedom fighters. If you want to learn something, if you want to take something, a note which you can take forward in your life, those examples are plenty. Ranveer has just used his image for his own personal, uh, you know, monetary things. Because if you
For
remember, if,
use for
yeah,
revenge.
yeah, if you remember precisely, 3 years ago he was in a live chat with I think he was the creator of AIB. I don't remember his name,
Yeah,
Tanmay Bhatt,
that
where
man.
he had accepted, he had confessed that whatever he does, it's for the views and ad and brand integration. So he was just having a mask on, and thankfully that show get aired. And whatever was the purpose, they were not expecting that there will be huge backlash and these things will be taken by the superior authority in Delhi. Because why I'm saying this is, the moment this got caught the public attention in social media, Ranveer Allahbadia had posted a picture with Samay Raina in his YouTube community, saying कि हमने कर दिया है कलेश, let's do something big. So they thought that passing such lewd comments and they'll escape it, that's not going to happen, because there should be a thin line. And
Yeah,
those comments,
because some argue that this is just dark humor, a staple of online entertainment, and that people are being too sensitive. Do you think there's a difference between dark humor and outright obscenity?
okay, so ma'am, I will be 29th this year. And when we were when we were child, we used to watch cartoon shows, Pogo. I guess we all are on the same page, so we watch the same. Our source of entertainment was कि हमें cartoon shows देखना है, हमें पोगो देखना, छोटा भीम देखना, ये हमारा, this was our prime focus, and we were happy in that life. But now, kids ranging from 6 years to 13 years, they also watching the same shows. I can share you a post which has gone viral on Twitter, that one of the user, he was flabbergasted when his 8 year old niece asked him कि अंकल porn क्या होता है, porn में I can't use those words. So उनको ये बातें पता कैसे चल रही हैं, because these influencers have made it a normal. Dark, dark humor, that means that you will vilify your own culture, your own family traditions. Because in India, our parents are the symbol of God, correct? And those wild words can lead to the unfiltered fantasies, which can lead to crimes. So everything is interlinked. And whatever we used to think as a crime, or the reels which you see in the Instagram feeds, पहले अगर वो रील्स आती मैम, तो वो उसको हम लोग एमएस बोल सकते थे, बट अब वो चीज नॉर्मल हो चुकी है, क्योंकि लोग को पता है जितने ज्यादा ऑब्सीन होंगे उतने व्यूज आएंगे, उतना उनको ब्रांड उनको प्रमोट करेगा. सो दैट्स अ बिग गेम.
So basically, platforms like YouTube have become primary sources of content consumption, especially for Gen Z. So, unlike traditional media, social media lacks stringent regulatory oversight. Should there be stricter guidelines for content creators, similar to how films and TV shows are being regulated?
Ma'am, the central government was about to introduce a social media bill in the parliament. It has been sent to JPC, but there were few jerks in it. So they have asked for more time to take into the note. Let's take the example of country like Australia, where they have banned, they have restricted children to use social media. India needs to maintain and issue such guidelines to all the intermediaries, that this is, you have to follow the law of the land if you want to work, because it's our country, our rules. As far as content creators are concerned, I really don't want that the Ranveer Allahbadia and Samay Raina get arrested. That was not the purpose. I have no personal enmity with them. It's just a lesson for all those people that please do use your influence wisely. As सरकार कहती है वोट वाइजली, वैसे ही हमें एक चीज सोचनी होगी, सब्सक्राइब वाइजली, चूज योर इन्फ्लुएंसर्स राइट.
Correct.
दैट्स
And
ऑल.
so, we've seen influencers issue apologies when controversies erupt. Do you think these apologies are genuine, or are they just a way to escape backlash? I mean, what, in your opinion, would be a meaningful course of action? Like you said, you don't want their arrest. So, what would be there in this particular case? What do you want Ranveer Allahbadia's course of action?
Ma'am, things what have done, it's been done. That can't be rectified. He can just mend his ways. And it's not that we don't speak in that manner when we are in our friend circle, but it's in a close group. Things which are supposed to be spoken in a closed room or closed groups, it has been published and viewed by the million of innocent viewers. Because what if a mind of 8 to 9 years, she or he can't differentiate what is right, what is wrong. So they need to be very careful what they're saying, what they're portraying, and no hard feelings with anybody. It's just be bit responsible. I can understand.
Also, from a legal standpoint, certain Indian laws do address obscene and offensive content, like Section 296 of the BNS, Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, and Section 67 of the IT Act. Both have provisions against such public obscenity. Given past legal precedents like the TVF case, do you think the law is equipped to tackle such incidents effectively?
Ma'am, I think it was year of 2024 March, a show in YouTube called College Romance,
Correct.
right? And a case was filed, and the Supreme Court had quashed all the things against them, saying that there is a fine line between obscenity and language which is found indecent and profane. So in that show, you and me have also went to the college and we have seen the same journey. That's fine, but they were not promoting obscenity. They were not saying that they have a fantasy to see their own parents. I don't want to use that word. So
Yeah.
Supreme Court has been very much clear in these things that everything's fine because we are living in a free country. Same things happens in the year 2014. I don't remember the exact case, but it was a case of S. Mukherjee versus State of West Bengal, where Supreme Court had laid down the committee guidelines that all the intermediaries they need to follow, that you have to issue a disclaimer that this content is can be viewed by the certain age,
Right.
right? It's totally, we're living in a free country. You want to watch anything, it's up to you. Similarly, porn is also banned, but do you think that people don't see it? Of course they do, but because we can't mm, impose the dictatorship. But in my opinion, when it comes to the future of the young generation, these things needs to be taken into the task.
And see, because influencers are not just individuals, they are businesses. Brands invest heavily in them. Should brands also be held accountable for supporting creators who put out such vulgar content?
Ma'am, let's take the example of Samay Raina. He was invited by an academy. An academy is is an ed tech, right? Where people get enrolled to become banker, civil service officers, and other parts.
Yeah.
It's all about the viewership. The more numbers you have,
The
more
more money
views.
you get. It's business.
Yeah, and I don't see. Let's take example that you are also active on YouTube, and you're trying to impart a good sense of knowledge that be civil. We should be aware of the legalities, but people won't view that. People want negativity. People want some masala. Right. So brands also often want to get associated with those people. So now that they have seen the backlash, now they will be even more careful that if they get associated with those people, they will also feel and face the same heat.
Correct.
And as far as Ranveer is concerned, he was awarded by the Prime Minister of the country.
Correct.
So I think government is also responsible. We as a viewers are also responsible. Brand is also responsible. So we can't, shed all those blame on one single entity.
Correct.
It's the collective responsibility of the entire society. If I when go into the blame game, so it's a never ending topic. We will be discussing entire night. So as a society, we need to fix our priorities. हमें किस दिशा में हमें लेके जाना है, because we always compete with China. In China, TikTok is banned. US in a report had said that the Chinese government had planned to mislead the audience of entire world in the name of TikTok. Why? Because it was a digital fentanyl, a sort of addiction. So it's up to us, nothing else.
Absolutely. So, Akshit, before we wrap up, what would be your final message to content creators and young viewers regarding this incident?
It's your life, it's your channel. Do whatever you want. But there should be a line drawn. Please be responsible, because just I just want to ask one question through your platform to our Honorable Minister of IT, Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav. Can he watch such shows with his family? The answer and the message lies in this sentence. So if we come across such things again in near future, the action and the reaction will be immense with the same sort of magnitude. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Akshit, for joining us today and sharing your insights. Since complaints have been filed and FIRs have been lodged, it remains to be seen how courts interpret the case. And let's hope for the best. Stay tuned to LawStreet Journal for more legal updates. Thank you.